Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. Moving on the subclass series into the Samurai Fighter. So if you're new to the channel or to the series, what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of the subclass abilities gained in this subclass, and then we're going to rate the subclass based on how these abilities improve on the base class in the categories of roleplay value, combat value, and overall class synergy. So without any further ado, we're just going to jump straight into it.
Alright, just like the Cavalier neighbor right across the page, you do get bonus proficiency as level 3. The choice of one extra skill between history, insight, performance, and persuasion, or the choice of an extra language. So the fact that you get a choice is nice. A lot of subclasses will give you one skill and a language, or maybe just 2 extra skills, or maybe just a skill. So you get the choice of either or can be helpful depending on which route you want to go.
Yes.
Also, your first major ability is Fighting Spirit. Starting at 3rd level, as a bonus action, you can choose to give yourself advantage on weapon attack rolls until the end of the current turn. You can also gain 5 temporary hit points, which scales to 10 at level 10 and 15 at level 15. This is a 3-time use per long rest ability. So just as a bonus action, you just want to give yourself advantage on all your weapon attacks for the rest of the turn. Fighting Spirit, you got.
Yeah. Level 7, you get Elegant Courtier. And with that, you're going to gain a bonus to your Charisma Persuasion checks, which you're going to be able to add your Wisdom modifier onto those checks. You also gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. And if you already, for whatever reason, have proficiency with wisdom saves, you instead gain proficiency in intelligence or charisma saving throws, your choice between those.
You also, level 10, get Tireless Spirit. So level 10, when you roll initiative, if you have no uses of your Fighting Spirit ability from level 3 left, you get 1 back. So it lets you be a little bit more free with using them throughout the day, so you're not having trying to make sure you always have one in the back pocket, because if you do run out, you will always have one to start every combat. Level 15, you get Rapid Strike. If you take the attack action on your turn and you have advantage on an attack roll against one of the targets, you can forego the advantage for that roll to make an extra weapon attack against that target as part of the same action. You can do this no more than once per turn. So either from your own Fighting Spirit ability, or because somebody has knocked somebody prone, or whatever the case, any reason you have advantage on attack, you can choose to forego the advantage and get an extra just free attack in as part of that same action.
Then lastly, we have Strength Before Death. So basically what's going to happen at level 18 is you're going to get this ability, and if you take damage that would reduce you to 0 hit points and doesn't outright kill you, which would be a huge, massive overkill damage, which doesn't happen that often, or disintegrates you or something like that. You can use your reaction to delay falling unconscious and immediately get to take an extra turn. So say you're getting multi-attacked on, creature hits you with its first attack, you interrupt their turn, and immediately take a turn right then. While you have 0 hit points during the extra turn, taking damage still causes death saves as normal. And if you do fail 3 death saves while in this state, you do die as normal as well. But when the extra turn ends, you fall unconscious if you still have 0 hit points. So you could, on your turn, technically, you could second wind and prevent yourself from going unconscious. But you do only get this once per day. When you finish a long rest, it resets the use of it. So basically, you're going to be knocked unconscious. You stop that turn, take your turn. If you're a crazy person, you've held on to your action surges, and maybe you just action surge twice, attack a million times, second wind, heal yourself, maybe kill the thing that tried to kill you before you die, or whatever. Just a nice way to not die. Emergency button.
And there's a good chance that whatever you're attacking, unless it's like some one big giant target like an ancient dragon of chosen color or metal, there's a good chance you're going to kill or nearly kill whatever tried to kill you, as long as you have at least 1 action surge in your pocket there. Because there's a chunk of damage you're ready to dole out for somebody. Go down with the ship, take somebody down with you.
Right. All right, so with all that being said, we're going to move on to the rating section. And first up, we have the roleplay value. Again, with roleplay value, what we're looking at is how the subclass improves mechanically on roleplay. We're already assuming you're going to roleplay your background, your lore, your history, your class fantasy, all those things. When we're talking about roleplay value here, we're talking about mechanically how these abilities gained in the subclass are going to maybe improve your interaction with the world, with NPCs, avoiding combat and non-combat encounters, things like that, mechanics in the roleplay side of things. So basically non-combat. And that being said, there are a few things on here. You're going to get bonus proficiencies and also Elegant Courtier. You're going to gain Persuasion, which is actually pretty important, a nice little bonus to that. And also Wisdom saves, while most of the time they are in combat, Wisdom saves can help in a lot of non-combat situations, if you're especially like in things like the Feywild or dealing with things like that. There's lots of charming effects and things like that that you might be able to avoid combats or avoid getting ambushed or something because your party's all charmed except for you because you're able to succeed a Wisdom save or something like that. So there are some non-combat uses possibly with Wisdom saves. Probably one of the most non-combat saves.
Right.
That it's not an ability check, right? Because most of them are going to be damage dealing, but Wisdom saves deal specifically with effects, mental effects most of the time.
Yep.
So with that, we decided to go with a 2.5 on the RP side, as all the other abilities are pretty much steeply in combat and not going to help too much mechanically with your role playing outside of combat encounters.
On the combat side of things, there's definitely some interesting things on hand. Having the option to just give yourself advantage on a given turn is very nice.
Right.
Starting at 3 times a day, so you know there's at least some multiple uses there. Right. And Tireless Spirit at 10 lets you get some of those, get at least one use back if you don't have any, which is nice. Rapid Strike pairs pretty well with that, of giving you the choice to drop advantage on one attack to get an extra attack. So eventually you can just take 5 attacks on a given turn instead of just the normal 4 because you're a fighter and you can never have enough smacks with whatever weapons in your hand. Right. And then the last ability, Strength Before Death, to me, as far as the thematic things, is one of the more interesting abilities that we've seen. I think that's really cool as an option to do. The drawback being is you have to get knocked unconscious for it to trigger. And that's probably what holds this back. If this was just something you could just do once a day, maybe you could do it either knocked out, or if you get hit by a crit, you could then do it. You know, if there was just an extra
way to trigger it,
one additional way to trigger instead of just going unconscious would make it a lot better. But we decided to go with a 3.5 out of the possible 5, just because you do have one less combat-based ability as opposed to like the Cavalier would have with Elegant Courtier, which helps out the RP side of things, and the Strength for Death only being able to trigger when you get knocked unconscious does limit. You know, what your big capstone crazy ability is, you go ballistic one time right before you get killed.
Yeah.
The other 3 abilities tie really well together: Fighting Spirit, Tireless Spirit, Rapid Strike.
Right.
Really help you give advantage and get extra damage in.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it is a little bit more of a late bloomer. It takes a little while to get some of the better things on here with Rapid Strike and things. But even at that, you're only talking about gaining advantage on 3 or 4 attacks, you know, a couple times a day, versus, you know, you take another class or something where they're be able to pretty much trigger advantage whenever they want, or in very other ways to give it to themselves besides just 3 times a day. You know, like Cavalier, you can knock something down and they're prone, and you can just do that as many times as you want. So stuff like that, it's good to get advantage on attack rolls. It's just kind of I feel like 3 times a day, or once you hit 10, getting maybe a 4th or 5th, maybe a 6th time a day.
Maybe. That's a lot of combats.
Yeah, it's not going to be huge. Just to be able to get advantage on a couple attacks a day. It's not bad by any means, but I feel like it could be maybe a little bit better if there was less limitations on it, essentially.
Finally gets us over to our overall class synergy. When you look within, like I said earlier, a lot of the combat abilities have their own internal synergy, which is really nice. Giving yourself an extra saving throw, because that's a very rare thing for a class to have access to 3 saving throw proficiencies.
Outside of feats and stuff.
Yes, I'm taking feats to get them, because you'll have strength and con already as a fighter. Getting the 3rd proficiency is really, really nice. Right. Decided to go with a 3.5 as well with the synergy as well. So there's definitely some improvements on things, but you know, there's some things that don't tie as well in what the fighter's trying to do overall.
Yeah, there's just not a whole lot. Getting an extra attack or here and there, or getting bonus advantage on your attacks. Yes, it is good, and it does work well with Action Surge, obviously. But there's just that limitation on it that you can do it so many times a day. The Tireless Spirit helps you do it, you know, more regularly, at least once a combat minimum. But you only do get 2 Action Surges, you know, at the high end of things. So it's not going to be super crazy in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. But again, double Action Surge with advantage on all your attacks is really good when it does work.
Yes.
But you kind of have to hold that in your back pocket if you want to try to go all in on something there. But that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so when new videos come out. Let us know in the comments down below if you played a samurai fighter, or if you played with one. If you have any stories about it, we'd love to hear them, as always, down below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.